Hi everyone, this is chapter 9, movie number 2, and we left off at number 5 here. So we're going to change the default value of city to Santa Fe. So what I want to do is I want to select the field Santa Fe. I want to be in my property sheet, and then if I'm in the data tab for my property sheet, and right there is where it says default value. So I'm just going to go ahead and put Santa Fe in there, and I'm going to put quotes around it. The system will do it for me, but since there's a space, I like to be sure it does it correctly. So now I'm going to move to state. Default value there is new NM. If I tab there, do you see it puts the quotes around it? And that one is fine to do that. So I have those two done. I'm going to mark that done. Change the default value of date joined to the formula equal date. Okay, so we're going to click on date joined, and then in my data, in my default value, this time I'm going to zoom it so I can actually see it. So when we put a formula in, we begin it with an equal sign, just like we do in Excel or anything else. So we're going to begin with an equal sign, and we're going to put date and then an open and close parentheses. So that is going to allow us to put the current date, right? So whatever the system date is, that's going to be what is entered into that field. So we're going to go ahead and do OK. Then I want to say whatever their date joined is, their renewal date is 1 year after their date joined. So rather than have to figure that out, I want to go in here for the renewal date and do the same thing. I want to put a default value in there, and that one is also a formula, but this one we're going to use the function called date add. All right, so date add, the first thing you put in that function is what is, and this is on page, I think it's page, is it page 500? Yeah, page 500. The first is the interval that you want to add. Do you want to add a month? Do you want to add a week? In this case, we want to add a year. So in order to designate the interval of a year, you put 4 Y's inside the quotes. The next element that you need to do in this function is how many do you want to add to. So we want to add 1 year. So I'm going to put a 1. If you wanted to add 10 years, you'd put a 10. And then the next thing is what is the field that you want to add to, and that's date joined. Notice that it's inside square brackets. It's inside square brackets because it's a field. That's the way that Access knows that that's actually a field. If you get a parameter error, then you have a typo here. So you just want to make sure that this date joined is the same name as this field. So we're going to go ahead and do OK, and we're going to close that, and we're done with that one. All right, so the next thing, oh, I already changed this, guys. I'm so sorry. I'll walk through the process for you. So click the background of the form. Then we want to go to Format. So in the Format background color, what I'm going to do is click on these ellipses, and I want to find this right here. White background 1, darker 15. Boom. Puts it there. Then I'm going to do these two fields, and I can select them at the same time because I want them to be the same look. So I used my Control key, and I clicked here, and I clicked here. And then I'm going to do the background, let's see, special effect, we're going to do sunken because I have them both selected. They both take on that. And then the background color is going to be that gray, and that allows that. You can do them independently, guys, if you want to, but I wanted to show you that you could do them at the same time. What this is doing is this is setting up these fields so that they're not going to be fields that the user can change. Like we can't change member ID and we can't change member name. So we're setting them off as something visually that we're not going to be able to get to. We're going to eventually modify the form so you can't go to those but right now we're just doing a visual. So we're done with number 7 here. All right, so now we're going to do the date join field. And we're going to take away the input mask, and it says the format tab, but it's really on the data tab, guys. We're going to take that input mask away. And here's why. We want to use the date picker. You know what, let me escape for a minute and show you on Form View, right? So in Form View, it puts me this little mask, right? So I have to enter the data in that certain way. But I really want them to be able, the user, to pick it from a calendar. So if I take the input mask away, and then I come over here, look, now we have a little date picker. So by not having the input mask in, it causes the date picker to appear, and that's what we want to do. So on the date joined, we remove the input mask. Once again, setting up how we want the form to look. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is in the member ID field, in the property sheet on the data tab, okay, change the locked property to yes. So this is what I was saying. We're going to set this so it's not changeable, and that when the user goes through and tabs through, we're not even going to get to this screen. So we're locking it, and then we're going to change on the other tab, tab stop, no. So when the person uses the tab key, it's going to bypass this field altogether. We're going to do that same thing on member name. Now remember, we could have selected both of those and picked those properties together since they were going to be. So on other, I'm going to change tab stop to no. And then on data, locked to yes. Okay, and then that allows me to, if I come over here, right, so I'm going to tab. See, look, when I tab, it just goes, it doesn't even allow me to go, right? It also does not allow me to change. So I'm typing a 4. I don't know if you could hear the little bell, but it doesn't allow me to modify that field. So that's what the lock does. The tab allows me not to get to that field. All right. So let's look at step number 10. Insert this JPEG file as a logo to the header of the form. Okay, so this is the body, this is the header, right? So we're going to insert it, remove the blank header box to the right of the logo, adjust the logo, and okay, insert a logo. Okay, so we're in the logo and we want to insert a picture, right? So we're going to come over here to insert image, and I'm going to browse and find it. So it would have been in the folder that you extracted all your data from. So here it is. I'm going to do OK. And let's see, does it say where? Remove the blank. Adjust the width of the logo. So now format width is going to be 2.5 and the height is going to be 0.7. Okay. And I'm not exactly sure where we're putting that right now. Let me just... So if we look on page 505, we have it just to the right of this name that's still this add a new member, which we haven't changed yet. Did I miss that step? So it's going to be add a new member. Okay, so we're done with that. And add the date and time to the header. Change the background color. Okay, so alrighty, so we're going to put a, let's see, add the date and time. So we're going to click on date and time. We want date and time. So we're going to add that. It's getting kind of crowded. That's because I got this here. So let's take this and move it here for now anyhow. Just going to line these up. And then it wants us to change the background of the form header to white. So I want to make sure I have the orange around all of that. Property sheet, format, background color is going to be white background 1. Alright, I'm going to take a minute and save this, and I'm going to stop this movie now.